So being a gastroenterologist, there's a lot of new fancy drugs on the market, some not so new, but some that have been around for years. I'm thinking about the PPIs, the proton pump inhibitors, the Prilosec and Nexium, things like that you can even get over the counter in the United States. Now, a lot of times those were initially indicated for reflux. So what is your opinion on a gastroenterologist about people using those long term for reflux?
It's a sad state of affairs, Shawn, that we see these things as over the counter. I think it really shows us where human health is headed. Proton pump inhibition is inherently problematic because it doesn't deal with the fundamentals of why people get these symptoms. Gastroesophageal reflux, the way I see it, is not a disease of acid per se. It's a disease of the inability to hold the acid within the stomach, okay? And I've made these points before in my blogs and my talks, which is that the diaphragmatic muscle is critical in controlling acid regulation and containing the acid within the stomachs. And I think what we've got in the modern world is a very, very dysfunctional diaphragm because of diaphragmatic sarcopenia, which is thinning of the diaphragm muscle. In addition, when one has intestinal gas, the diaphragm's pushed forward, right? And so it creates a dysfunctional system. You combine that with our breathing technique in the modern world, which is very shallow, small breaths over the course of the day. We simply are not utilizing the diaphragm the way it should be utilized. Obesity is a big, big risk factor for diaphragmatic dysfunction as well. So I think that diaphragmatic muscle is key in why we've got a reflux epidemic. So rather than block the acid, so what we're essentially doing with the proton pump inhibitors, we're increasing pH by blocking the acid transporters within the stomach, which fundamentally doesn't help because you still get the regurgitation. It's just less acidic. So you're not asymptomatic, but what are you doing to your digestive capacity? We, by birthright, are a creature built for acidic-based digestion, so one has to wonder what the downstream effects are. Now, it's not a surprise to me that these drugs are linked with osteoporosis, and I do wonder about whether they could be linked with sarcopenia as well, which is muscle loss. I suspect they are, because if you're unable to digest protein appropriately, and you will be compromised in that regard if your acid levels are low, well, you're fundamentally left with a protein deficiency. Now, as we age, we develop this anabolic resistance to protein, which is that we are not as efficient at breaking down protein. Henceforth, we have to say that adding these proton pump inhibitors on top is a problem.